Hey everyone, it's Sal here. Welcome back to another perfume video. I hope you're doing well. So today I'm going to be going through some perfumes I have in my collection and kind of discussing whether I feel they are safe blind buys or not. I would say on the whole, I'm not really sure if there is truly such a thing as a totally safe blind buy, just because we're all so different, and something that is very likable and mass-pleasing to one person may seem not so appealing to another person. So I think I'm going to be using the term safe blind buy kind of loosely throughout the video. I'm just going to be sharing my opinions. There are some fragrances I do believe are safe blind buys for me, if that makes sense, and if you have similar tastes to me, then you may also find them to be safe blind buys. But on the whole, I would just be kind of wary. It's always best to test a fragrance first and use your own judgment and things like that. So before we get started with the video, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a wee thumbs up and click the subscribe button for new perfume videos every single week. And of course, get yourself comfy, grab yourself a drink or a snack. Today I have some rooibos and honey herbal tea with me. So the first fragrance I think I'll talk about today is the beautiful Mon Guerlain Eau de Parfum from the House of Guerlain, of course. Now, initially this was going to be one of my safe blind buy fragrances, but as I sort of considered this more, I remembered reading a few comments from you guys just mentioning that some of you basically didn't get on very well with this one because of the licorice notes and various things like that to do with this fragrance. So actually, as it turns out, I'm going to label this as a fragrance that's not a very safe blind buy. And again, it's kind of interesting because for me personally, if I had blind purchased this, I'm trying to think if I did blind purchase it. I can't remember, I don't think I did, but if I had blind bought this, it would have been a very successful blind buy for me. But on the whole, taking into account what I've read from you guys and just things I've heard here and there, on the whole, I would say that this is probably not a very safe blind buy, just because, overall this is quite a sweet fragrance. It's kind of powdery and it's all of the things that I absolutely love. But I think, from what I've heard, to some people this one can be a bit too sweet. It can be a bit too cloying, it can be too powdery, and also the licorice note in here is something that not everyone really gets on well with. Primarily to me, I get a very rich, very beautiful, heavenly scent from this fragrance, really. It's very soft, quite diffused, aromatic, it's sweet, it's woody. You definitely have that very nice soft vanilla lavender combination going on in here that's really very beautiful to me. I'm not sure if the licorice is super prominent to my nose, maybe a bit. If I'm thinking about it, then I kind of notice it more, whereas if I'm not really thinking about the fact that it's there, then I wouldn't notice it as much, if that makes sense. But I have definitely heard, just from comments from you guys, some of you can find the licorice note in here to be quite strong. I suppose it is, I can detect it when I think about it, if that makes sense at all. I would say if you enjoy quite rich, woody, vanillic kind of fragrances that are quite powdery and sweet, then there is a good chance that you would get on well with this one, but I just don't really want to say for sure because I've heard kind of mixed opinions on this fragrance. But I absolutely love it. I really think it's a stunning one. It's very classical, very, very feminine, very classy, very sophisticated, smells like somebody kind of put together. It's just a very nice, versatile fragrance as well. So it's the type of scent that you could wear virtually anywhere, in my opinion. So it would make a stunning date night scent, but then it would also make the perfect kind of go-to everyday work fragrance as well, just like in my own personal opinion, really. But I wouldn't really say that it's that safe a blind buy, just from what I've heard, the mixed opinions, the fact that I think some people can pick up on the licorice notes more prominently than other people, and things like that. So I would just maybe try this one first before you purchase, unless your tastes are very, very similar to mine and you know that you enjoy notes like licorice, patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla, lavender, you know, citrusy kind of openings, rose. If you enjoy all of those notes, you know, and you enjoy sweet powdery fragrances, then I do think that this could be a safe blind buy for you, but otherwise maybe not. And next up today we have kind of another one from the Mon Guerlain line, and that is Mon Guerlain Intense. And I would probably say that this is one to try first. I absolutely love it, and again it would have been a very successful blind buy if I had blind bought it, but I don't think that this is one that I would just go ahead and recommend for everyone to blind buy, because mainly due to the higher levels of patchouli in here, you know, the fact that this one is a richer mood overall. It's not quite as mild as the original. It definitely has more of a kind of heavier feel to it. It has more attitude about it, I would say. And of course, for all of those reasons, it is absolutely stunning. I would say it's my favourite. Yeah, definitely my favourite from the Mon Guerlain line. Now, to me, the lavender in here is softer. It's much smoother overall, and to me, the lavender is kind of very well blended in here. I get more of the woody nuances and more of the kind of vanilla. And I would say perhaps the licorice is stronger in here. Overall, it's more of an intoxicating mood, very, very stunning, very feminine, an absolutely spellbinding, alluring fragrance, but I'm just not sure if I would recommend it as a complete blind buy. I'm just not sure, you guys. Maybe if you know that you get on well with notes of mandarin orange, if you know that you like licorice, patchouli, lavender, vanilla, if you know that you love all of those notes, then maybe go ahead and give it a try. But otherwise, I would just be a little bit wary, you know, just because it's a heavier mood than the original. Continuing on with the Mon Guerlain theme, I suppose, we have Mon Guerlain Sparkling Bouquet. And actually, I would say this is probably the safest blind buy worthy fragrance from the Mon Guerlain line, in my personal opinion. Now, this is a much lighter, more light-hearted mood than the original and the Intense. This one is more easygoing, it's more kind of, it's lighter, it's more daytime appropriate, it has that interesting addition of pear in here. I don't think it has licorice at all in the base notes from what I can remember and from just what I smell of it. You do have your white musk in here, you have your sandalwood in the base, you have your peony, I believe there might be some jasmine in here as well. Of course you have the lavender and vanilla signature Mon Guerlain DNA. And there's a really nice, almost icy pear kind of opening. It's not too sweet, it's not a syrupy pear, it's just a very nice, authentic smelling pear kind of opening to the scent. And overall, like I say, this is just a much more mild fragrance. It's very easy on the nose, you know, it's a very versatile, easy reach type of scent that you wouldn't have to think too much into spraying. It's just one of those very nice grab and go kind of fragrances, just when you want to smell, I don't know, feminine, clean, sweet, just pleasant for every day. It's really that kind of scent, but it still has something kind of interesting about it. Yeah, it's just a really pleasant, slightly fruity, peony, bright, smooth, easygoing, slightly aromatic, sweet, floral, fruity type of a scent. Really, really pleasant. For me personally, I prefer to wear this fragrance in the spring and summer. I think it's a nice lightweight fragrance for the warmer weather. And overall, it's just a milder scent and less likely to offend anyone's nose, in my opinion. But funnily enough, with all that being said, this one is actually my least favourite from the line. I still like it, you know, I still enjoy it, but I absolutely love the original Mon Guerlain and the Intense, whereas this one is more of a like, you know, I enjoy the scent, I like it, but it's one that I could probably take or leave. So You know, I personally adore the original and the intense, but when it comes to blind buying, I just feel like this is the safer blind buy. So that is Mon Guerlain Sparkling Bouquet. Next up today we have a relatively new addition to my perfume collection, and that is Glistening Amber from Juicy Couture. Now this is a fragrance that you can purchase for a very reasonable price, you know, and you get a 100ml size bottle. I think I paid around 30 something pounds for it, you know, and it smells really very nice. It's a very, very sweet, ambery, vanilla, powdery, musky type of scent with some spice running through it. And it kind of reminds me of, you know, certain types of scents. So for example, it kind of reminds me of Grand Soir from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It reminds me of this one kind of reminds me of a spicier version of Rose's Vanille from Mancera. It reminds me of those kind of scents, you know, just very sweet, vanillic, sweet and spicy type of scent. That's quite linear, it doesn't really change much on the skin. It's quite a simple scent, but it smells really yummy. And for all of those reasons, I would say, you know, in my opinion, this is a relatively safe blind buy. You know, if you love really sweet scents and you don't mind a little bit of spice and you enjoy musky fragrances, you know, if you like all of that, then I don't really see why you wouldn't get on with this, if that makes sense. I would say it's quite a safe blind buy. And the other thing to bear in mind as well is the fact that it's not really going to break the bank. It's not an extremely expensive scent. The bottle itself is quite magnificent in my opinion. I think this looks really quite dramatic and theatrical, and would make a really nice piece of decor on your vanity and things like that. So overall, I just feel like it's quite a safe blind buy. It comes in a really nice box as well, which I don't have with me just now, but it's a really nice fragrance, quite affordable, smells pleasant, you know. The only thing I would really bear in mind is if you're not the biggest fan of super sweet perfumes, then be wary of this because it is very sweet. And in fact, I was a bit taken aback at just how sweet it was. For some reason, I wasn't really expecting that from the fragrance. The other thing about this one is it's really nice for layering with other fragrances. So far I have enjoyed layering this with my Black Opium and it smells really very nice, but I am going to try and, you know, layer it with other things and see how it works. But I think that's another like good thing about this fragrance, just the fact that it's quite nice to layer with. And I think that kind of comes down to the fact that it has that base note quality, if you know what I mean. It has that ambery, woody quality to it and the musky quality. It has notes in this that you would typically find in the base notes of other fragrances. So I would kind of spray this one first, let it dry a bit, and then spray another fragrance over top. So I think that's quite nice. The other thing is it's quite linear, like I mentioned. So it's not going to add too much complexity to a scent. So therefore it's, you know, it's more likely to blend better in my opinion. But anyway, that's Glistening Amber from Juicy Couture. I would say it's a relatively safe blind buy. The next fragrance I have with me today that I would say is a safe blind buy is Sofia Vergara. Now this is a fantastic fragrance. I've raved about it a lot on my channel and I do think that it deserves all of the praise that it receives online. Now, I have tried Coco Mademoiselle and I have tried recently Coco Mademoiselle Intense, and I have to say I definitely prefer this one. They're all quite similar to my nose, they all give a similar vibe, they all are kind of from a similar fragrance family. They're not going to be 100% dupes or anything like that, but they all give me very similar vibes. And I much prefer this fragrance. You know, this is an absolute fraction of the price of a Chanel fragrance and I much prefer it. It just smells so good. It definitely smells more expensive than it actually is, and that's something that, you know, to this day I still can't quite believe it. It's really the kind of scent that if you smelt it and didn't know how much it was, for me anyway, there's no way I would guess that it would be that price. I would guess that this was a designer fragrance. It just doesn't smell cheap. It just does not smell cheap. It smells very classy to me. This one kind of has that girl next door type of vibe to it. It's very nice, pleasant, easygoing, very, very pretty, but at the same time quite classy, put together. This is one of those scents that's reminding me of, say, Coco Mademoiselle, Armani C, La Vie Belle, but not nearly as sweet. And actually, I kind of prefer this one, I think. And I believe this has a kind of oak mossy base to it, which I can smell sometimes more than others. It's this slightly maybe a mossy, earthy touch to it. I've heard that some people don't get on well with that. Actually, let me know in the comments if you're one of those people that don't quite enjoy the oak mossy base note in here. For me, I don't mind it. I mean, I like this fragrance. Overall, I would say it's a safe blind buy, just because of how fantastic this smells. It smells high quality to me. The bottle is really, really pretty. Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy Armani C and you enjoy Coco Mademoiselle, then I feel like, you know, you're gonna like this. But if you don't like those fragrances, then I would say you're probably not gonna like this. So again, it's one of those things, use your judgment, you know? If you enjoy that kind of scent, then I think you would like this, but if not, then I don't think you would. But overall, I would say it's a relatively safe one, and I just really enjoy it. Fantastic, affordable fragrance, and that is Sofia's Sofia Vergara. Next up today, we have Dahlia Divin Le Nectar Intense from Javon She, and although this was a very successful blind purchase of mine, I would not say that this would be a safe blind buy. You know, it's one of those fragrances that could be hit or miss, and I know that Alithia Marie, I believe she purchased this one blind fairly recently, and she actually didn't get on well with it. I think she found it too nauseating and a bit too heavy, and I think she realised that she didn't get on very well with the mimosa note in here. And I can actually really understand why someone would find this to be quite nauseating or even cloying, and quite heady actually. You know, it's quite an intoxicating fragrance. Very, very soft and diffused, but it's still quite heavy, and it's quite an intense scent. And I think if you don't totally love either yellow florals or kind of rich woody notes, then I think there's a chance that this might feel a bit too much for you. But if you love your yellow florals and you love your kind of sweet vanilla notes and your woody notes and everything like that, then there's a chance that you might be totally fine with it. But on the whole, I'm gonna say that it's probably not a safe blind buy, just because of how heady it is. It's quite an intoxicating scent, and it's probably the type of fragrance that you would rather try before you buy. But again, having said that, it was a successful blind buy of mine. This was a perfume swap I did with a subscriber. I'd never actually heard of this one. And we just did the swap, and I was very pleasantly surprised by it. So it worked out very well for me. But on the whole, I wouldn't really say that it's going to be that safe of a blind buy. Next, we have Chloé Low Eau de Toilette from the house of Chloe. And I would say that to me, this is a very safe blind buy. This is just the most easygoing, calming, soothing, almost cooling effect kind of fragrance. Now, in here you have your very aquatic, airy, watery, dewy sort of notes. So you have your peony, you have your lychee in here as well, which is kind of giving it that dewy, watery sort of feel to it. This is the kind of fragrance that almost washes over you. You know, this has a very calming effect, in my opinion. It's very cooling, it's very soothing, it's just subtly there in the background, it's not too much, and I can't really see anyone disliking this. I mean, maybe if you weren't a fan of peony and you didn't really like lychee, then maybe you wouldn't like it, but it's just such a nice, easygoing scent. It's the kind of fragrance that you would enjoy smelling just in a room, do you know what I mean? Just as like a pleasant scent wherever you go. This would be very enjoyable. It's that type of a fragrance. This is just such a nice, easygoing, relaxing, watery kind of scent. And I actually think this would make quite a nice gift as well. You know, if you were planning on purchasing a fragrance for a friend or a family member, this would be a really nice one to consider actually, because it's just so pleasant, it's just so likable, and it's in a really cute bottle as well. So I think it would make a really cute gift as well, to be honest, and I just really like it, particularly for the high heat in summer. This is one of those fragrances that almost has a cooling effect, very, very calming, very soothing, would be appropriate for a professional setting just as much as any other setting really, and it's just a fantastic scent. So that's Chloe Lowe. Next up today we have Armani My Way, and yes, I would say that this is relatively safe blind buy in my opinion. It's a very pleasant scent, very sweet bubblegummy tuberose type of fragrance with prominent notes of orange blossom as well. You have a creaminess from the vanilla and I believe the cedarwood in the base, and there's a bright sparkling bergamot opening to the scent. It's just stunning, you guys. I really, really enjoy this one. The only one thing I would maybe say about this fragrance is it is quite strong actually. You know, so if fragrances can easily give you a headache, I would maybe, you might still be okay with this, but I just wouldn't spray too much of it. I would maybe give it 1 or 2 sprays and you would be kind of good to go. I spray more of it because I enjoy a stronger scent. But it's actually quite a strong fragrance, and that's the only thing I would bear in mind when it comes to blind purchasing it. But if you're looking for a nice sweet, you know, as in a nice level of sweetness, a sweet kind of white floral, sparkling, uplifting, flirty, everyday kind of scent, then I would definitely give this one a try. It's a really, really nice one. And something I've noticed about this fragrance is the dry down is actually heavenly. There's something about the dry down of the scent, and it's quite a few hours in. So I would say if you've been wearing it for maybe 3 or 4 hours, the smell begins to really, really soften up, and the bergamot has kind of dissipated by that point, and you're left with this very like harmonic, smooth, sort of creamy vanilla, cedarwood, tuberosy kind of fragrance, and it is really stunning. So I do actually enjoy, you know, the development of this scent on the skin. I feel like it goes on it's not overly complex. I wouldn't really consider this to be a complex fragrance, but it definitely does change on the skin, and it kind of you know, morphs into this very beautiful, harmonic, smooth, creamy type of scent. Overall, this is a really gorgeous, versatile, everyday, bright, floral, slightly vanillic type of a scent, and I would say that it's a relatively safe blind buy. And last up today, but by no means least, we have the beautiful, the only one from Dolce Gabbana. And funnily enough, although I love the scent, I wouldn't really say that it's a safe blind buy, just because it's quite a rich, sweet, intoxicating scent, and I can really see this being too much for some people. This is the type of fragrance that I sometimes have to be in the right mood for, actually. It's a very, very rich, heavy fragrance. Keynotes include caramel, you have your violets in here as well, you have your pear, there's a coffee note in here as well. It's slightly gourmand but still quite perfumey, which I really like about it. To me it is stunning, but I can really see this being nauseating for some people. I don't know why, I can just feel that it would be nauseating for some people. I think it's the caramel note in here. If you're not the biggest fan of caramel in fragrances, then I would be wary of this one, because to me that is quite a prominent note in there. Upon the first application, it's very, very sweet. The combination of the pear with the caramel is very prominent to me, but then as it dries down, it kind of becomes a little bit more powdery, more of the florals start to come through, and it balances out better as it dries down more, you know? But still, on the whole, I'm not sure if I would say that this is the safest blind buy kind of fragrance. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you've blind bought any of these that I've mentioned today as well. But it's just one of those very, very sweet, rich fragrances. You know, there's a lot going on in here. it's fairly complex, I would say, and I just feel like it would be kind of hit or miss with people. I'm not sure, but let me know what you think in the comments. But for me, personally, I would recommend trying this first before you purchase, and that is the only one from Dolce & Gabbana. As always, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave me a wee comment below. Let me know of some perfumes that you have blind bought. Were they successful? Were they a fail? Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Click the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on my future perfume videos. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you very soon on my next video. Bye!